Only one vitamin helps shrink your enlarged prostate. Discover the key to shrinking your enlarged prostate with a powerful revelation. Only one vitamin holds the secret. Uncover the natural solution that could transform your prostate health. Say goodbye to discomfort and hello to a revitalized life. Explore the transformative potential of this essential vitamin today. One of the biggest problems that we, as men, face as we get older is BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. The prostate gland starts to grow, and as it grows, it can choke off the urethra that runs through it. We can get many different types of symptoms, including increased urination, difficulty starting and maintaining a urine stream, a weak urine stream, urinary urgency, a feeling of incomplete bladder emptying, and urinary retention. These symptoms can definitely significantly impact the quality of our lives. We, as men, have testosterone. You know, we have the beard, the deep voice, our male characteristics. It affects our growth, our muscles, and many more things. But what happens is, as time goes on, that testosterone converts to dihydrotestosterone, and the enzyme 5-beta reductase is the key enzyme that allows this to happen. So what happens is that as we get too much of this dihydrotestosterone, this leads to hypertrophy or hyperplasia of our prostate that continues to grow bigger and bigger, and it actually makes us more bald as well, allowing our hair follicles to start falling out. So too much of this dihydrotestosterone can be quite on the downside than on the plus side. These types of drugs that you hear about, the pharmaceutical drugs, what they do is inhibit the enzyme of this alpha-5 reductase, preventing the change of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone so it doesn't happen. So there are other herbs that I'll get into after, but there's one fat-soluble vitamin they have found that can do wonderful things to help shrink the prostate. That's vitamin D, and now, medicine has brought out an awareness that people call chronic pelvic pain syndrome, and this is what we call CPPS, and this deals with imbalances of muscles because maybe incorrect sitting posture, imbalances of the pelvis, pregnancy, obesity, just weak core muscles. Certain habitual habits that you may be doing all day long weaken these muscles from post-traumatic injuries. And when these muscles become imbalanced in the lower pelvic floor, we then develop trigger points, and those trigger points refer to those areas that potentially affect the rectal area, the prostate area, and the female area. So if it's affecting the male parts, like the prostate, it may appear like it's inflamed because of this imbalance. So then we go to the medical doctor, the urologist, and they give us anti-inflammatories or antibiotics because they may be saying, okay, we don't believe in this non-bacterial prostatitis because you're having symptoms. It's definitely bacterial. They treat it the same way. So I'm sure many of you men can understand that you've been to doctors, they put you on antibiotics, and it's not even bacterial related. That's what they do. Unfortunately, that's not the answer. So let me just share some quick studies. I'll just briefly touch on them, and I'll put them in the description below about vitamin D. This first article was about vitamin D and benign prostatic hyperplasia, and in this study, they say that over 50% of men over age 50 will have the disease, along with the probability that 90% of the men over the 339 age of 80 will have enlarged prostates. But the prevalence of vitamin D deficiency in the male urological population represents a direct correlation between BPH, which is benign prostatic hypertrophy, and vitamin D. They show that 6,000 IUs a day have been shown to decrease prostate volume in BPH patients. Another study, vitamin D deficiency as a potential marker of benign prostatic hyperplasia, and the conclusion of this study was that there was a relationship between the presence of vitamin D deficiency and prostate growth associated with urinary symptoms, likely attributed to the pathophysiological similarity. The study suggests that vitamin D deficiency may be a marker of BPH. Let me share a few other remedies that have been helpful for many people. From beta-sitosterol to saw palmetto to pygeum to ryegrass to lycopene. Lycopene has been extremely effective in preventing the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, as well as those that I just mentioned. I like, believe it or not, zinc because a large amount of zinc that is stored in our body is stored in our prostate. Zinc does wonderful things not only for our immune system but even vitamin C. But one of the biggest problems that I found with people who have these conditions is a poor diet. Lots of refined and processed sugars, not getting enough sleep, a person that sits a lot, particularly those that even bike on those small seats. It can really affect and irritate the prostate. And those who don't exercise or stretch, because I would recommend that if you're having prostate problems, try doing some lower pelvic floor exercises or stretches. And you're going to say, which ones do I use? Well, just type in lower pelvic floor stretches, and you'll get some great ones. You can do the frog, you can just spread your legs out, you can bring your knees up and spread them out. There's all different ways of doing different exercises. I don't have the time to go into this particular video, but I can promise you that if you've been on these different types of drugs or these natural supplements, or you've been on antibiotics or anti-inflammatories and nothing seems to work with you, start doing some lower pelvic floor stretches. You'll be amazed that one little thing may make a huge difference for you. But if you just listen to this video and potentially do those lower pelvic floor stretches, you'll hopefully thank me later, because that may be your answer. I mean, not all will be coming from that hyperplasia or that BPH that you're experiencing, so I hope. Oh, by the way, with your vitamin D, I know a lot of people are asking how much I take. Well, according to what's recommended, 600 to 800 IUs are not enough. The problem here is that if you're taking your vitamin D and you're not taking it with fat or with your food, you're not going to be assimilating that vitamin D. And the problem here, even with supplements, is that if you're taking 1000 U, 2000 U, or 5000 U, it doesn't mean that you're going to assimilate all that like someone else will. Obviously, you can get your vitamin D from the sun, but as we get older, it gets harder. Plus, too much sun is not good for our skin because of the UV rays, UVA and UVB. So I like to start out with about 2000 IUs, if I were going to tell someone, and then eventually it's good to get your vitamin D checked, maybe a couple of months later. And I have taken 5000 IUs myself for years, and my vitamin D level is in the 50s, so it works for me. But you may take 2000 IUs, and it may get up in the 50s or 60s. But I can tell you that the greatest deficiency that we have, besides 742, magnesium, is vitamin D, and vitamin D has been correlated with COVID. I'm not going to go there, but the people that were really sick all had low vitamin D levels, and they're finding that people who are experiencing more problems with the prostate, because vitamin D does more than just our immune system, have low vitamin D levels. And as we increase these vitamin D levels, people have been responding much more favorably to their prostate issues. Better urination, less need to go to the bathroom as often, a better sexual life, whatever it may be. I just hope that it will help you. So make sure your vitamin D levels are up. I hope you found this video helpful, and again, those extra little remedies are really good remedies as well. A lot of times, you'll find formulas that have all those different things in it. But really, make sure your vitamin D levels up and do those pelvic floor exercises. Hopefully, you'll thank me later. Anyway, please share this with your friends and family, leave your comments below, and, most importantly, have a nice day. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.